Hello, everyone. Welcome to Beyond the Glass, the window cleaning podcast. My name's Rob. This is the second episode. And basically, I've had a couple of responses through YouTube. And one of the comments was from Billy. It's a cane dog. And basically, he just says, "Hi, mate. I'm starting out, still doing my original job in construction and trying to build up around at the same time. What did you find the best way to get customers? Thanks." So I've sent a reply to Billy and I said, I'll do the next episode about getting customers. And I'm sure someone else, I just can't find the comment. I've been looking for it. Basically was asking, how did I get my first customers and what do I do now to get customers? And again, I just said I'd make the next episode about getting customers. So I thought for this one, first of all, I'll talk about how I got my customers in the beginning. I wouldn't say I'm unique because, like I said, we're getting into window cleaning. Like Billy's saying, he's still doing his job in construction, but he's trying to build up a window cleaning round as well. So it's probably very similar to me, where I was still in the military and I was having to get some window cleaning customers basically because I had to pay my startup loan that I borrowed to get myself set up. So it probably applies to Billy the same as how I did it. Is luckily for me, because there's people on the camp, the place I worked at, a lot of people at the camp through the year had to come through my workplace. So even though we're a small group, we got to know a lot of people and word spread. So when people had seen me practicing cleaning windows on my workplace because they all thought I got in trouble, and then they said, no, so he's going to set himself up as a window cleaner. A lot of people actually approached me saying, I'd use you to clean my windows. We need a window cleaner. So my first customers really were people from the camp who'd seen me. Not everyone on the camp were military. There were civilians working there as well, like in the civil service and that. And I suppose for them, they've been thinking about getting a window cleaner, but it's like, who do you go to? And if you think about it yourself, where would you go if you wanted a window cleaner? And you probably want to start with someone you know, to be honest, don't you? And some people can be funny like that. So you probably could get your first lot of customers just through people you know. Obviously, you've got family and friends, but you don't want to be doing mates rates. Pricing, I could talk about on the next episode. Someone has asked about pricing, so I've said I'll do that on the third one. But yeah, to find your customers, you could find it within your workplace. So for like Billy, within his job, he could be asking people there, and it might not necessarily be work colleagues, but they could come back a week later, say, and maybe they've got family members that live in your area who've expressed an interest in having you as a window cleaner because they feel they could trust you because it's through a mutual mate or, like you say, part of the family. So that's where I really got my first customers from that way. And then once you've seen out cleaning them, you attract attention. So you might get neighbours of that customer and then you'll start to clump up work. And that's how it started for me, really. Some of the customers that I took on, I'm still cleaning today as well. So that's why I go all the way up to Coningsby and do 100-mile round trip with all the window cleaning because they got me started. And I just thought it's wrong if I just, when I come out of the military, say, see you and I'm off. So I kept them rolled into one day, and it's a day out and a good run out for me van. And me and Matthew like that as well. So yeah, that's how I got my first lot of customers. But also for back home, what I was doing was I'd got a load of leaflets through Vistaprint. I just made them up myself because I used Photoshop. So I made my own leaflet design on there, uploaded it to Vistaprint, ordered a load, and then I went out and delivered them. Now I used Royal Mail postcode finder, I think it is, where you can use to type addresses. So I'll type, for example, where I live, Parson Drove, and it would come up for all the different postcodes in Parson Drove, and I could see how many addresses going street by street. So I kind of worked out at the time, there's probably a lot more now because all the building work going on, that there was 500 homes in my village. And I just worked in my head that I'm probably going to get a 5% hit rate out of all that, of people saying yes to cleaning windows, and probably half that, to be more realistic as well, 2.5%. So anywhere from 2.5% to 5%, I figured would say yes. So that was my aim, and I did that for all the villages near me. So I worked out the leaflets I needed. And because I haven't got lots of work on, lots of customers, I would rather be out in my van and had my van sign written, which is something else I'll go on to as well, because that's a way to get customers. So I thought being out and being seen is going to get you work rather than sitting indoors waiting for a telephone to ring just because you've put an ad somewhere, which is another way of getting customers. So I used to park my van and then I'd walk down the road, because there's some long roads in my villages, to a certain house, cross over, deliver all the leaflets, working back to my van. Then I'd drive the van forward to where the last leaflet was dropped, and then I'll just repeat that process and work my way down. And if you're in little cul-de-sacs and stuff, that's a dream, innit? You just park your van and just walk around the route, and that's how you've done. So I was canvassing really, and if there was nobody in, I'd put a leaflet through the door. So I was doing a mixture of canvassing and leaflet dropping myself. Now I was aware that during the week and during the working day, most people aren't even going to be in. So that's why I thought I'd do a leaflet drop. But if someone was in, I'd get to speak to someone. And that was a bit daunting at first, because you just think so much at stake, but you just open your mouth and let it go. Don't think too much of a script, but I just kept it short and sweet, because you've only got a small window of opportunity before you start boring someone. And so basically I just said, hi, my name's Rob. I live in, and just said where I was. So obviously pass and drove, because if I'm in a local village, they know I'm local to them. Explained that I was just leaving the military and I've set myself up as a window cleaner. I just wondered, would you like a window cleaner? And that is it, literally. And then I'll just let them lead the conversation from that point there, and invite them to ask any questions and how it all works, that sort of thing. Now, if someone turned to me, sorry, I've already got a window cleaner, obviously I ain't going to nix another window cleaner's work. So I'd say, right, terribly sorry, but thank you for giving me your time. Thank you. And I'll just walk off and leave it at that. Sometimes they'd ask for a leaflet. What you would find, even from the nose, is they might know someone else a bit further down the road. Might be an elderly bloke or an elderly lady, and they know they're looking for a window cleaner because their window cleaner's packed up. So you'll get little snippets of information like that as well. So then you'll know to go down to number such and such, and hopefully you'll catch someone in there and you're going to get a yes. And if you start to get niblets of information like this coming up as well, because you've probably already started thinking that the window cleaner doing that area is no longer going there, there's going to be a few more people that are in need of a window cleaner, actually, and hopefully you'll fit the bill. So you're only going to find this information out by knocking on a door and through just conversation. And if I got to a house where no one was in, I would just put a leaflet through the door. And that's how I did it. I can't remember what size there wasn't A5, it's the next size down. It's at A6, which is what I went for. And yeah, that's basically what I did. Just going around canvassing, driving into, trying to do a whole village and knocking on doors and putting leaflets through if they weren't in, leaving them in the post boxes and stuff like that. It does take a lot of time compared to what you think, and it can seem slow. But some days you'd go out and you'd have about 6 people all booked in. You'd done your quotes as well. And I had my van there, so if they wanted me to do it there and then, I did. Yeah, so it does take a while. And like I said, some days you'll get nothing, some days you'll get some good results. And one thing you could do is, rather than putting a flyer through the door, just use a business card. That's something I'd thought of before. However, I'd got my leaflets because I'd done all my branding and everything. It was all over that. And that's how I got my first lot of customers. I did try things like Facebook when I first started. I wasn't doing Facebook ads, by the way. I've not really ever done that. But I did used to go into the local village groups and I'd advertise in there, obviously obeying by them rules. And then you'd get some work coming in through that way. But in the beginning, I was finding I was getting a lot of people who just wanted a one-off clean, and sometimes getting paid took a while. And I just felt that it was getting me the wrong type of customer. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some good customers out there that you're going to get off Facebook. But I was getting a lot of it was very downhearting for me. So I left Facebook alone after that. And it was just mainly, the best bit is word of mouth, because when you clean someone and they think you're nice, polite, friendly, you are attentive and doing a good job, they're happy, regardless of the price. If you're too cheap or whatever, just strip that away. People just want someone who'll turn up when they say they will, likes doing what they're doing and will do a good job. And obviously being polite and friendly as well. And they will just drop you in conversations with all their group of friends or family as well, because I do a lot of people and I'm doing their whole family. Like poor Betty, she's gone now, but she was 105 and I was cleaning all her daughters, children and great grandchildren as well. So you're going to get a lot of family members out there as well. And again, I remember going in, I still clean them to this day. There's a small little area of a cul-de-sac and there's 6 all next to each other. But as soon as one person said yes, they're also telling me to knock on such and such, and they're an elderly couple. I think they'd love to have you as a window cleaner. But they also explain to me when you knock on the door, they might not hear you because they're not very good at hearing. And if they're watching the telly, so just be patient. Yeah, you only get that by knocking on doors, and word will spread. The more customers you got, the more and quicker the word spreads as well. And I found they're better customers because they seek out you. So again, people who send you leaflets, they're going to have to make the phone call to get in touch with you or go through your website if you've put that on your leaflet. So they're making an effort to get you. So you've got to make an effort to get back in touch, basically. And I found them to be, like I said, a lot better customer compared to when I was going through the Facebook groups. So that's what I stuck with. It's just slow growing, but that suited me because I was trying to figure out what I was doing. And then another thing is sometimes my wife would come out with me some days, and while I'm cleaning, she would grab some leaflets and try and do a road or one side of a road, depending how many houses I was cleaning down that bit. So she'd go out dropping leaflets for me as well while I'm working, which was nice. And that got me some responses as well, but it doesn't get you like tons to get you going, but it's going to get you a few. And like I said, they're going to be good customers. And the more customers you get, work leads to work, basically. And sometimes as well, you might go to a small house thinking, well, this ain't going to be big, but then they'll start getting you in touch with someone else. But by the time you walk down the quote, they're onto a family member nearby, perhaps, and would you like me to send it down? So you end up going down there, and then while you're there, you pick up another couple of customers. I have had that happen to me. And then you're really glad that you went down there to do that because you've ended up with 3 customers. So get used to the knockbacks and the no's, but you will get good results somewhere. Another way of advertising that I did, there's a local advertisement. It's called Village Voices. It comes out once a month, and it doesn't just go to my village. It's all the surrounding villages in my area get the same magazine. And it cost me £60 to do an advert for the year. And the smallest size advert was the size of a business card. So that's exactly what I put in there, was one side of my business card with all my details and that on there. And that got me some work as well. Now, like you say, £60 for the year. If you did a house that was £10 every 8 weeks, well, that one customer is what I'm trying to say has paid for your advert straight away. So it was worth it, and it did get me some work. And also I thought with me driving around in my van and people see the sign written on the side of the van, they've seen me out working with me uniform and logo on, and then they're seeing it in the local advertisement magazine as well. So and then my website's out there. So it's all gaining me traction basically. And I did get a few people respond to that. I did it for 2 years because it got to the point where I was having to turn people away because I didn't have room to take new customers on. And I just thought everyone would think, well, why are you advertising for? Otherwise I would have left it in there. So that's a great little way to do it. And another thing that won't cost you anything is, I know you might have a website, regardless of whether you've got one or not, something you can get is your Google business page, and that costs you nothing. So I'd go on there, get that set up, and then fill in all the details that they're asking you to on there. You can post pictures as well, or video clips like your social media, and put them on there as well as like little adverts. And that gives you a free good presence, the internet as well, for people to find. And you'll be surprised, especially when you start getting reviews sent in. To keep it active, every once a week or something like that, just put a picture of you doing some of your work. Like I used to just put 3 pictures So it'd be like a picture of the van, a picture of me, and a picture of Matthew cleaning the window. And then I'll just say, today we've been cleaning in, and I'll just put the villages that I was in. And that was it. And that will get you some. And again, like with my invoices, because I use a CRM called Squeegee, I've got a link saying, tell us how we did. So it was getting people to leave reviews, and I was getting a steady trickle of reviews coming in as well. So as long as something's being added to that Google business page, Google can see it's active. It'll help refreshing it to stay higher up on the list. And it does work, and it does get me customers through there, especially when I was starting. So that is definitely one of the first things you should do. I've got a website. I got that all from day one. I didn't go to like Wix. I'm hosted now with Hostinger. I didn't use their website builders. I brought a template because I was going to be a web designer. So I thought I might as well buy a website and look at the template and figure out all the code and ask why have they done this way to sort of learn it. And it cost me, I think, £60, and it's still using it now. But it come with instructions, so I knew how to change and swap things around in the code to make the page look the way I want it. And I've got it hosted on the internet that way. So one thing to be wary is sometimes with these website builders, you build the website, but if you go with another company, you can't take that with you. Whereas if I've got a template like my own coded website, I can take that wherever I want. And it doesn't have to be too interactive, but you can go as mad as you want, or go and get yourself a web designer because they know what they're doing and they're good at what they're doing, or do it yourself. And that's one of the good things about being a window cleaner, running your own business. You start to put your fingers in lots of different pies so you can learn lots of different things. So that's what I did, coded my own website from a template, by the way, and then I just changed stuff and got that hosted. And then you've got to learn how to get it all good for search engine optimization. So this helps you rank for free without having to pay someone to do it for you, to get your website to come as high as you can get it really on the Google page in your area, because obviously you want customers in your area. So to go through it again, just think you got a website, which is advertising you, and that's the place you're trying to funnel people to go to get in touch with you. Then you've got your Google business page. So that's two separate returns that are going to come up on the Google when people look on the internet to try and find you, or window cleaner near me. So get them search engine optimized so they score well. And then you've got your Facebook business page. So that's number 3. If you go to something called Nextdoor, so it's like Facebook called Nextdoor, works really well. And it was a customer that told me about that. So I've got that set up and a business page. So that's now 4 different returns that are going to come up on a Google page. And if you imagine them being all brilliantly search engine optimized, you might find they're the top 4 that come up on the list anyway. And that's just further reassurance, isn't it, for the customer or potential customer to come and find you. And then you got Twitter and all the other social medias, really. So that's what I would say do, and they're not costing you anything. You don't have to go out spending money on advertising. I haven't done that. I know people do it, and especially those who are big companies, because they're trying to grow all the time. So they're using Google ads, Facebook ads, etc. But I can't afford to do that, so I didn't. And that's how I got my customers. So like I said, use what's around you. You probably get family members help you out. They're good for cutting your teeth and getting involved. So you're trying to work out your workflow, how you're going to drive, set up out your van. Are you going to start the front? Are you going to start the back? All that kind of stuff, packing away. But hopefully a neighbour across the road is going to be watching you and just happen to be needing a window cleaner, and there you are. Definitely, like I said, have your website sorted out, or definitely for sure, rather, your Google business page, because that is free. But if you've got that and a website, and then, like I said, Facebook, Nextdoor, all the other social medias, get them done. Look up search engine optimization. Look at ways you can regularly put posts on these things so it looks like it's something active. So again, that helps you rank high on the page for free. And it gives you that footprint in your local area, and any local advertising mags. If there's one that you constantly get through your door, well, chances are it's going to go everywhere else as well. That's worth putting something in. And I would say as well, get your van sign written. I've had to spend loads of new money to replace my old van because it broke down. So I haven't got it sign written, but when I've got enough money, I will definitely get that done. And I did it with day one with my van, the previous one when I first started. And that got me work as well. You get people walking their dogs. Someone else said it on me for YouTube, like the saying is, always be polite, say hello. Like, so if someone's walking past on a school run, walking the dogs out in their front garden or putting the bins out, just turn around and say, good morning, hi, how are you? And that is it. It's all you have to do. And it's amazing how far that goes. And you plant the seed and they could become a customer, or failing that, they'd just be on the phone saying, I think I found someone you'd like as a window cleaner because they seem very nice. So bear that all in mind. You're always being watched. And if someone sees you working hard as well, that goes a long way. And I think it makes handing money over to you a lot easier as well, knowing you've worked hard for that. But yeah, all these things help you get customers. And a sign written van is good as well, because I think all these things and then some form of uniform, even if it's not like 100% perfect, we all worry about that, doesn't it? It just shows that you're someone who's serious and is trying. You're trying to do all the right things. And that speaks volumes. And definitely a sign written van will get you noticed more. I've had customers, because they're businesses and they've got multiple vans out, mention about my van because when I first started, you take work on all over the place and you end up like zigzagging up and down all over the place until you start forming rounds. So they said your van gets everywhere, and they knew it was just me in one van as well. So again, it just shows someone's out there trying to find work and just wants to work. So it speaks volumes. I've even picked up customers when I've stopped off at a supermarket because I'm going to go and use the toilet or something. And then as I've coming out to my van, someone's putting the shopping away. I can see they're looking at me out the corner of my eye, and then see them coming across. I know they're going to ask for a business card. And that's exactly what they've done. They've just said, oh, I just happened to be, and you're there and I saw you. So I thought I'd ask, have you got a business card? And get chatting. And then bang, you got a customer. So I wouldn't have had that without a sign written van, would I? And like I said, being out, being seen, it's going to get you noticed. And people can always take pictures of your van anyway, because you've got all your contact details on there. So it's great. It's definitely something in my eyes, sign written van, uniform, have a website, and then definitely Google business page. Look for advertising in a local advertisement paper that you know gets delivered, or magazine. You don't have to go mad on all these advertising for Facebook or Google AdWords. That can all come later. But definitely the best return on customers is word of mouth. And then it seems slow growing, but when you get to about year 3, you're kind of happy. And then I think the pace of getting customers tends to take off. And that's just purely because you've got X amount. And like I said, the more drums you got banging out your name, the more people are going to hear it. So word of mouth is a massive thing. And that's just simply turning up, doing a good job, being kind, reliable, and polite. And that goes a hell of a long way. So that's basically how I got my customers all in the beginning, and how I continue to get my customers. And I'm at the point where I can't really take on any more unless I go and get another van and someone to get in that, which I have been thinking about, which is mainly for my son. But I'm just trying to get over a new van and trying to pay my tax bill at the moment. So one thing at a time. But yeah, that's basically how I got all my customers, and still continue that way. And it's word of mouth. A lot of them are family members. So you've got to be careful. If you upset someone, I'm probably going to lose like 10 family members. Not that I'm going to do that anyway. You know what I mean? And they've all been good. And yeah, word just spreads. And you'll be amazed. Sometimes you'll get one customer that really likes you and seems to be finding you customers all the time. And again, they're all good customers as well. Not messing you about, you get paid. And I think the busier you get, you start to find the people who are always after a one-off, they just all seem to disappear. So I don't know how they knew to pick on me, and I'll just say, yes, get it done, and then find out it was a one-off. But eventually they will tailor off, and you'll just be left with all these good customers. And then the work is always there then, isn't it? That's what I've said to my wife. When I thought we could lose it, I could understand when my van went down, spending all this money and I haven't got the customers, but I've got the customers. So you're kind of safe in a way because the work's there. Yeah, it all just builds up. Get used to the no's. It's hard to build rounds up because not everyone in one area says yes. It gets built up over time and people come and go. Another thing you're going to find probably you'll do as a window cleaner, the longer you do it, is you start looking and not on purpose, but you'll just see all the for sale signs going up. Then you'll wait for it to be changed, sold, and then you think, right, it might be worth putting a leaflet through there or a business card through the letterbox. And I've had customers ask me for a business card or a leaflet to leave for the new person coming in from the house. I've picked that customer up, and then my old customers only moved to another village around the corner, and I've still kept them. So I've got customers that way, and that's your customer just thinking out for you, which is great. And so, yeah, you'll find you'll keep an eye on these for sale signs and see where they're going sold. And then another couple of guys have talked about, like on my live stream, saying another good thing is new estates, but you can probably guess that everyone window cleaning wise will have their eye on this. And then the people living there might just, that's another leaflet. But what you could do is go to like one of the sale houses there and speak to them and then just say, could you ring me when you sell a house and someone's coming in? And I will then go down and ask if they'd like the windows cleaned. So they've got people that way, or they've given them leaflets saying, when they can move in, just hand them a leaflet. And then obviously you might get the phone call. And I think with canvassing as well, you don't want to do a hard sale approach. That's why I always said, hi, my name's Rob. I'm left military. I'm setting myself up as a window cleaner. I live round the corner in Parsons Grove. Just wondered if you'd like a window cleaner. That is it. If they said no, I'd just thank them for their time and move on. If they seem interested, I would just let them lead with the conversation. I wouldn't apply any pressure on, because sometimes you might find you're speaking to someone, they'll say, well, I've got to speak to my wife. So again, that's why I say, well, I can hand you my business card if you want, or here's a leaflet, and just get in touch with us when you're ready. And that's that. And I do get work as well with me gutter clears. They're not always regular customers. I've got a couple that use me once a year. And they've just got me, again, through word of mouth, used me and just said, could I use you once a year? And then sometimes I found like I cleaned one guy and he owns a couple of properties that he rents out. So I clean them as well. It's just funny how you get work. So like I said, work leads to work, and it's not going to come to you sitting at home waiting for the phone to ring. Just get out there and do something where you're seen. And if you've got the time, go knocking on the doors. But it gets harder as you start to get busier. You've got less time to go knocking on doors, canvassing or putting leaflets out now. Another thing my family did for me in my local village is my kids went out and delivered leaflets while I was doing another village delivering leaflets. And then also, like I say, got a wife that's supportive, they can come out and drop leaflets while you're cleaning, for example. And I know some people have a rule where they do like 2 leaflets either side the house they're cleaning and then do 5 houses across the road. But obviously you don't want to do that every time you're there because they'll get completely fed up with putting leaflets through the door every 5 seconds, I suppose. But you could do that just in the areas where you're trying to concentrate and building up around, for example. But most of mine, honestly, has just been people walking across the road. They've probably been watching you as well for like the last 6 months, but they've been busy doing something. And then when they're free and gone out, you're just driving around the corner. So you often find they'll catch and go, I've been trying to grab you for months. Would you come and clean my windows, please? You're like, oh, I'll give you a quote first, blah, blah, blah. So it does come that way. And again, like I say, sign written van, just being noticed, doing a good job goes a long way. And people will just name drop you. I mean, I've seen stuff on Facebook, next door threads, or posts where someone's saying, hi, I moved in the area, I'm after window cleaning. You see lots of other window cleaners, but lots of your customers name dropping you as well. And that's reassuring that people are thinking of you like that. And I've got work through that way, just through other people recommended me. I haven't jumped on there and said, hi, I live here, I can get in touch. I've just left it for them to get in touch with me. And I find that they're the best customers and stay with you for quite a while. But yeah, that's all it is, really. That's how I got my customers and how I get them. Be interesting to see what your thoughts are. Put them in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube. We are on Apple, iTunes, and Spotify. And let us know your tips on getting customers, especially aimed for someone like Billy, who's still working, but he's trying to set up window cleaning as well. And obviously, a lot of people have done it that way as well, starting up, haven't they? So he's going to try and obviously build up before he jumps from one career to another. And for anyone who is starting, I'll just let you know of a window cleaner that come up to me once. He was an ex-window cleaner, he was an old fella, but he asked me to clean his windows, told me he'd done window cleaning alongside a job he had, and he found it good. And he said, boy, you've got a job for life. So it's worth persevering. Get these customers. It will take time, but you will get there. And eventually all your customers will do the talking for you. And you will just keep getting the odd trickle coming in of inquiry, because you are going to have the odd people move away from the area, for example. It's great. So that's my advice, basically. Like I say, I'm not the best expert in the world, but that's how I've done it. Been going 8 years now, or in just over 8 years. Yeah. The window cleaner for my area. Obviously, there's other window cleaners that come around here. I always speak to them. That could be another form of getting customers as well, actually. I've had it where a window cleaner's gone, do you want a customer? Obviously, they're giving that customer away for you for a reason, but when you're like, okay, that will do, because you might get on with them, and the next thing you know, they're singing your praises to someone else and going to get you a customer as well. So networking, that's another good thing. And just speaking to people and getting out there. That's the best way, really. Well, that's it from me. That's the end of the podcast. Let us know in the comments or wherever you can reply to things on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I must look this up. And let me know how you get customers, what you find is effective, especially aimed at people who are starting out and are wondering all this and thinking, how do you continue getting customers? But hopefully it's all been some form of help. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.